5 o'clock. I will call the meeting to order. Sandy, would you please call roll call?
Councilperson Brenny?
Here.
Rooney? Here. Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Here.
McGinty?
Here.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight and invite you to make comments on the minutes, on the items as shown. And also, item number 4, citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda this evening. With that, we'll go to 2. And does anyone have any conflicts of interest on our agenda tonight?
No.
Okay, we'll move forward to item number 3, consent agenda A, approval of agenda, B, approval of minutes of the March 10th, 2015 council meeting, C, consideration of appointing Eric Younginger to the Sac City Hometown Pride Committee, D, consideration of final application for tax abatement under the city's urban revitalization plan for Manson Manufacturing, Michael and Michelle Owen, Brian and Carol Hansen, Robert J. Lighting, Earl and Jacqueline Stone, Jennifer Saul and Josh Belcock, and E, receipts and disbursements. Is there any discussion or any questions regarding A through E?
I would move passage of consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass consent agenda. Are there any final questions or discussion?
I have a question. What is Manson Manufacturing?
That's one of the Pugh family businesses.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, all right, sorry.
Okay, Sandy, would you call for a vote, please?
Councilperson Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Item number 4 is citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. Are there any this evening? If not, we will move on to 5, miscellaneous, and she is not here. So we'll move on to B, which is the community center to present their annual report. Kyle?
You guys move quick. Love it. Our meetings are this way.
Yeah,
no kidding. It's always like a 2-hour meeting.
get to it. Get it done, right?
That's what I love. All right. Wasn't 100% sure on what you guys wanted, but this is what I have. So, thank you. All right. So, pretty much just an outline of what we did in 1 year. My year mark at I'm gonna go on the hot seat. My 1 year mark is actually April 10th. So it's around almost this meeting, almost perfect on that I've been at the Sac Community Center. But you can see I just broke it down into major projects, some minor projects, and then services and events that we provided throughout this year. It's up to you if you want me to just read through every little detail on. The biggest ones I probably will talk about will be those major events, and then also looking into the future of what we're wanting to accomplish this next year. And that probably will grow, but this is what I could think off the top of my head. But a lot of the big ones we upgraded a lot of our cardio equipment. We updated a lot of our weightlifting equipment. We installed an elevator, a pool lift for the elderly and the handicapped. We repaired the paint and the walls in the basketball court. We replaced and remodeled, sorry about that, the indoor pool and the floor. That probably need to be done for like 20 years.
Yay,
really excited.
yes.
And then we created a youth and adult boxing room, boxing type program. So you can see all the costs and all the money that we needed to raise for each one of those projects. And keep in mind, some of that is in-kind work also, wasn't all money. A lot of the board members helped from the city and my staff to put this together. Minor jobs, it's just those are all pretty basic business, or pretty basic building maintenance is what we needed to do or accomplish, which would be getting things up to code, electrical, fixing holes in the walls, water meter leaks, those kind of things. And then the services and events, long list of what we've done within this past year. And about 75% of these we've added that have never been going on at the Sac Community Center. So, social media, we are updating business opportunities or operations. We increased our social media. We got ID numbers so kids aren't sneaking in anymore and losing money that way. That's a big one. Start doing mass emails to say we're communicated with the community. Fitness facts of the week. We started Before they were just using like an Excel spreadsheet for their books, which was very confusing, and I don't see how they did it, but.
I don't either.
They updated it through QuickBooks, and we're working with accountants to make it, make sure that every penny is accounted for and make it easier for me and for our accountant for taxes at the end of the year. We did increase our memberships by 80 plus as of now, so.
I heard there's 300. I was
Almost.
told that.
Really close.
I need 2 more.
Okay.
So one of you, anybody here that's not a member, I need 2. 2 to reach my 300 mark. That's it. Looking into the future, we're looking into 24/7 access. We actually approved to do that our last board meeting to make our facility 24/7 access. So everybody will get a key fob, be able to get into the facility whenever they want. It won't be staffed 24/7. Obviously, the pool and the basketball courts will be locked. They'll be able to get into there, into the gymnasium or into the weight room and the cardio room. Obviously, only adults, not kids. I don't trust kids. Don't. Man, I got a hole in my wall right now to prove it. We would like to raise money to put a roller rink in our facility. We're thinking 1 or 2 times a week to have roller skating go on throughout for the community, instead of just renting them 1 time a year, to have it an ongoing. So that's another thing we were thinking on wanting to do. And the only one that we have had approval, just to make sure that you know, the 24/7 access is the only one we have approved. All these other ones are just ideas that we would like to see.
What did you tell me was approximate cost of the roller skates and stuff? What did you think was approximate cost?
It was for just the roller skates it was about $8,000 for 125 pairs of roller skates in all different sizes. So, and that, I mean, we'd still need to get pads for the walls. We'd still need to get, we need to get helmets and knee pads and stuff like that. But just for the skates themselves, it was about $8,000. That's the only one that I really looked up. I didn't look into all the crash pads on the sides and stuff like that to keep it a little safer. But I always thought, I mean, it's always a big hit when they have those 3 or 4 days at the rec center. So I figured it'd be something that would be nice to do ongoing. The idea was unfortunately, I look at everything in my center as every square inch as potential revenue, and if something's not being used a lot, I'm going to turn it into something different. So we are thinking on making one of the racquetball courts a movie theater in town here. So that was another idea we've been throwing around, is trying to have a movie theater in town.
That would be awesome.
Make that it. That really cost the license and the projector and some chairs. So we did get money for round tables to host like poker tournaments and stuff like that. We did get a gambling license, and so that'd be kind of a fun little deal. And we also have a room in the back of the gym that we want to turn into some sort of a kid room daycare that parents can come and work out or do what they need to do without having to have their kids hang on them the whole time. So to have that staffed. We were looking for a good area to put a bunch of pool tables, so thought that would be kind of fun. And then I know this is a suggestion that I got from a lot of people. They want more parking, so that'll be some expense that we'll have to either try to extend it in the front of our facility, which would be preferable, or see if we can put money to extend the library parking lot. So that was another one that we were looking into wanting to do.
I think the library gets a little bit upset because the
I
rec
know
center
they
takes
do.
their parking, so I think it's
Yeah.
important that they look at some kind of a,
Well, we've talked for years about doing it right out in front of the rec center.
Yeah, and you
It's
can
just
now.
never happened.
Yeah, you can now because it's not a main highway anymore. Before you don't think you could because.
I think there was a design plan put together one time, but that was probably 5 years ago,
Just
6
get me
years
one.
ago now.
I'll get it. Fine.
I do have one question. This is more personal than professional of nature. Zombie Nerf wars. Is it zombie because it takes a head tap to take them out?
Oh,
Or,
no. Well, what we do is we have it's a lot of fun. I mean, we have 2 games going on at the same time. So we have the hunters and we have the zombies. Okay. Well, and so
Zombies were adults, by the way.
yeah, zombies were adults, by the way. It was a good time. So For one, the main goal, the way we did this last time, we had a group of 5. And a group of 5 would go out there at the whole entire center, and they would clear the whole building. And they had a supervisor, which was myself, that would make sure that they would, be true if they got touched or something by a zombie. And the adults had a great time scaring the crap out of these kids. These kids were scared like crazy. Like I had them like flatline on the ground. Like they're like when Brian Clare comes at you in the dark with a smoke machine, it's scary. Okay? I don't care who you are. That's a scary thing. So every time they killed a zombie, they got their glow stick and everything like that. And why that group of 5 was going on, also in the gymnasium, we had a second game, so the kids weren't just sitting in a room. We had 5-on-5, just shooting each other with Nerf guns. Zombies over here, hunters over here, and they had to wear zombie masks to indicate that they were zombies. So it was fun. I think I'm going to probably try to do it every month. Because I have fun with it too, and I like shooting kids.
How many kids did you have, and how many people did you have?
We had about 50 plus.
Wow, that's good.
There was
turnout.
still, and it's too bad that there's nothing else for them to do because there was still a lot of kids.
Yeah.
There were so many kids that there was still a lot sitting in that room.
Yeah.
Which was okay for concessions, I guess, because
Yeah, that's
that
what
helped out
benefited
with
us for
concessions
concessions,
too when
that's
they were
for sure.
sitting there. But
Yeah.
it's too bad there's nothing else for them to do.
Yeah,
Another group
and that's
or
why.
something.
I think I just need to buy new Nerf guns. That's all.
Yeah.
Board games or something while they're
Yeah,
waiting?
yeah, something. And we try to get them as interactive as possible, but there's only so much room we have, and we'll think of it next. I mean, next year or next month, I'm probably gonna send out 3 or 4 teams throughout the center to clear zombies, and then they'll be interactive with 15 kids instead of 5. So there's always I always learn something new to do every time we do it. That way, I can keep making it better and better, and keep increasing the stories. So. But we've had a fun year, that's for sure.
Could I offer a suggestion?
Shoot.
When I was on the county conservation board, it's been a number of years ago, we had a naturalist, and still have a naturalist program out there, but the naturalist drew up a wish list of things that she would want, and like binoculars, and some people actually donate the item in kind, but a lot of times they would donate money towards the different things. And just a suggestion, maybe you might want to draw up a wish list of things that you could donate for, or we're working on this, and just kind of keep it in front of the public as, one of the, if you want to donate and give something, it might not come about for a while, but sometimes somebody may give a significant donation, or the little ones make a difference too. So just a wish list is merely a suggestion. And Bruce and I serve on the foundation board. For you to accept donations of money in kind, that's not, I don't believe, tax deductible, is it?
I don't know about their organizational
But we could possibly funnel it through
Have the money go
the
through
foundation
you first
and then
donate.
donate it, back
It's
to
a
you. And we'd have a
nonprofit.
special account for that.
Yeah, through the SAC Community Foundation Board, is what you're talking
Right.
about, sure. And every once in a while, we will, I have a whiteboard there that I'll throw up there, this is what I want. And some people, like the first month I was there, I said I wanted air conditioners, I ended up with 10 air conditioners. I didn't want that many air conditioners.
You might also have some of the kids write a story and put it on the Facebook about how much fun they had.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And, or put a thing in the paper, have a kid write something in the paper about how much fun that was, and get the word out that there's things that the kids are really enjoying doing there.
I was really surprised when we saw, we had people, we had a group there that came from like 20 miles away. Came to
That's
this
wonderful.
Zombie Nerf
There's a
War.
ton of kids from Newell.
Yeah.
And once those things get to be a tradition,
Yeah.
word will travel and they'll grow. Just keep scaring them.
It just keeps, they love being scared. I think we started, we had first time we did it, we probably 20, and then next round we did it, I think we had 30, and this round I was like, well, what the heck? What happened? But now they're like, oh, it's not for kids anymore, we can actually go, I'm not gonna lie, adults would love doing this.
Well, there was actually 2 kids that night that were older that wanted to do it, and then there was no really older kids there, so they ended up leaving that night. Well, one I think came in and did it, but the other one ended up leaving. But
Maybe they'd be the adult side.
Yeah, like an adult zombie Nerf Wars.
How
Have the
about,
kids be the zombies.
Good.
You offering your
cheer.
kids or?
They're 1 and 3. You don't want to tick off our little redhead. Should be a ginger snap. So, it'll be good.
Well, thank you, Kyle.
Yep.
You're
You're
doing
gonna
an
work with it.
awesome job.
Looking at your major projects, looks like you've got about 75,000 plus in that. How much
Yeah.
of that was, most of that was donations?
Most of that was donations. Yep, donations or some grants, like Sac Community Foundation donated. You guys donated for a pool in our elevator, but a lot of it was donations. Just people we wanted to memorials to certain individuals or people that just wanted to see this done, like that $45,000 little thing there, that elevator. That was John Chris saying, "I want an elevator to get down to your pool." So.
And then he can't go up.
Yeah, I know.
That's a
It's doing
bummer.
better.
Hoping to see him back there. And we did get a pool lift for him. That wasn't in his general plan, but we bought a pool lift for him because he can't get down the stairs either. So figured that was a nice little deal for him too. So.
I was
That's
kind of excited
awesome.
to hear that you're working on upgrading the weight equipment so that the football players from here are going to be able to train,
Yeah.
train there as well.
Yep, and the way we looked at that was, I mean, I was talking with Eric Picola, and like if they had bad weather, if they got younger individuals that can't drive or can't get there, or even the convenience factor of, well, they got to drive all the way to there just to get there by 6:30, and so I'm going to be working with the football team to doing a weightlifting program with them, and then the ones that live in Sac to get them more integrated with us, and it will work for their. They have a point scale. We worked it out that it will work for their point scale when they come to my center, and we just I gotta knuckle down some times, some hard times for them to come by. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think they should be too.
It's great to see the school, the community center all working together.
Yeah, I think that's you must have. I mean, you gotta have that.
They see
I wouldn't
value.
be there if all three didn't work.
You know, one other, foundation too, don't forget the Sac County Foundation. They have, grants that they disperse to, most communities in the county, and certainly the rec center, if you have a good project going, and they have a stipulation, it has to be for vertical infrastructure. You can ask Adam later on, how that's
We
defined.
had talked about it a little bit a couple
Yeah.
months ago.
Yeah,
Would a
but
parking lot
we're-
be that?
Oh, it would qualify.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because they give some pretty good grants for
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
lots.
and
Yeah,
and
If you need
then
help writing something like that, let me know.
I do. Always.
Bruce has had a lot of experience with that,
Yeah.
hasn't he?
Bruce
Yeah,
has
he's an expert.
grants.
Well, thank you for doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, sir.
We hope you're enjoying it.
I'm having fun.
That's good. Okay, since A is not here yet, we will go on to C. Consideration of Ann Pugh's request to close William Street alley, from the alley to the stop sign on North Fifth Street on May 15th, 2015, from 3:30 PM to 7:30 PM. And I believe this is probably for a graduation.
Yeah.
And we did it last year.
And John didn't have an issue with it. I talked to him about it.
I'll make the motion to approve Ann Pugh's request to close William Street on May 15th from 3:30 to 7:30 p.m.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve Ann Pugh's request to close William Street from the alley to the stop sign on North Fifth Street on May 15th, 2015, from 3:30 PM to 7:30 PM. Are there any additional questions or comments? Will you call for a vote, please?
Councilperson Bruning?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Motion carried.
5D is a second reading of ordinance number 2015-264 entitled an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Sac City, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to collection of solid waste. Is there any discussion around
Has
that?
there been any comment that came in about this?
Really?
I would move passage of the second reading of ordinance number 2015-264.
Second.
Motion has has been made and seconded to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2015-264, the ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of the City of Sac City, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to collection of solid waste. Are there any further questions or comments? If not, I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Rooney?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. 5E is consideration of hiring a wastewater operator 1 and 2.
The committee interviewed and met and is making the recommendation that we offer the position to Mike Allen.
Is there any discussion or questions?
He has to get the classes completed.
He has to pass the
Licensing.
certification
Within how many?
requirements. He gets 2 chances. Within the time period, he has a chance to take the test twice. So he'll have 2 opportunities to take the test and pass.
I'll make the motion to approve Mike Allen as the wastewater operator 1, 2.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to hire Mike Allen as operator 1 and 2 at the wastewater plant. Any questions or comments? I call for a vote.
Councilperson Bruni?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We'll let her get her coat off and we'll do consideration of setting pool wages and rates for the 2015 pool year. And there was a lot of discussion, and I think Kyle did work on it, and you have the final thing in your packet, which I'm sure you've looked at. Are there any discussion or questions?
I noticed 2 things I think Kyle might have meant to word differently. He had single resident and family resident, and I thought he just simply meant single and family. He didn't mean to leave the word
not really
resident in there.
residents or-
And then the only other thing I noticed is on the projected opening date, it was showing June 1st. Is there a reason you didn't want to open the Memorial Day weekend?
Only because it falls on a Sunday. That's the only reason why. But if we want to put it back on that Sunday, that's fine with me.
But it was May 23rd is a Saturday.
Oh,
is
it
what
is.
we had it set to start. Because
Oh.
usually the
I think I'll
Monday,
have to look back then.
yeah,
Nope, that's
we've typically opened the Saturday before Memorial Day, so we captured the Memorial Day
Oh,
weekend.
perfect. Okay.
So I didn't
Yep.
know if there was a reason you were suggesting June
I don't know why
1st. or-
pet peeve start things on Monday, but
Oh.
if we want to put it on Saturday, I'm good with that too.
And
I just
it-
didn't like it on Sunday. I thought it was a Sunday. So the other thing that I would like a question for you, I did change hours from 11:30 to 7 instead, because when I was talking with a bunch of the people that worked there last year, they didn't see anybody from past like 6:30 at the pool except for lap swimmers. And then I figured 11:30 could get more concession sales because they'll be there over kind of a lunch period too. And I talked to Angie Fisher about like when they do their practices and they're done by 11. So I was just wondering if anybody had any questions or any
I think that's a good idea.
input on.
So what were the hours before?
They were 1 to 8.
So then actually we're gaining a half an hour of opening time.
Not fancy.
Will there be so was the end of it a family time or?
No, it wasn't. Just
You might remember 2 years ago, I believe it was, we had the closing date at 7.
Yep.
And we had 2 or 3 different parties come in that were concerned that if it was open later, they would attend more in the evening at the pool. And so the council took action about 2 years ago to because the way we dealt with it is if we hadn't had much attendance after like a 30-minute or hour, and I can't remember exactly what the policy was, but they could then start the process of closing down. And they were almost never open past 7 p.m. Well, the council voted 2 years ago to require them to stay open till 8 p.m. And what Kyle is saying is absolutely true. The attendance from 7 to 8 is almost non-existent.
like 1.
However, that's the history on it. It was about 2 or 3 years ago. It was required by the council that they stay open.
But 2 or
till
3
8
years
o'clock.
ago, we had the closing time listed as 8 o'clock. Now we have it listed as 7 o'clock, so do you think people
They
would
should
still
just
complain?
know Well, I was wondering, I'm trying to, I mean, because I know most of those kids are gone out of there. Well, just talking with some of the lifeguards, they said they're out of there by 5:30. So maybe even just make like 6 to 7 a lap swim time, making sure that those are the individuals that are getting frustrated, were the ones who wanted to do lap swim at the end of the day.
I don't know if I'd cut it back that far because of the families. Some families don't get off work till 5.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And if they want to bring their kids during the week,
they
that
can't
wouldn't
do
give
that.
them very much time. So I don't know if I'd cut it back that much.
That's why I'm having this discussion.
If you want to do it, if you want to do like a lap swim, I'd go lap swim 7 to 8,
Yeah.
and then you'd only need 1 lifeguard on duty.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. That's just a
I
thought.
think
that would
that's a
actually
better
lap swim.
idea, because I think you're gonna have
I think
people
that'll work
upset if
really
you
well.
cut the hours. in the
Because
evening.
then you may have more adults that want to come do the lap
So
swim.
let's go back to 1. Let's go back to 1, and then 1 to 8, but lap swim from 7 to 8. Does that sound good?
1 to 7 and laps swim from.
So
7
not
to
open
7.
till 1.
Not open till 1. Yeah, because I got a budget I gotta stick to, so I can't extend those hours. I mean, I know those kids lined up at the gate at 1. But
Could you extend it an hour?
So I guess,
Yeah, what about
Could you open
12:30?
it a little bit
we could do
earlier?
12:30.
And the
I
only
think
reason
we
I'm
were-
saying that is
It was
because
12:30.
some
Oh, was it
parents,
12:30?
It was Sunday was 1, but
Sunday.
every other day was 12:30.
Okay.
if you're doing a lap swim from 7 to 8 and only need 1 lifeguard, could you go back to a 12 to 7 and 7 to 8? I mean, if the budget works out.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking, if you're really only talking about having 1 lifeguard there from 7 to 8 for a lap swim.
You can always change it.
Yeah.
You can, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're never gonna know who's gonna be.
oh,
able-
and it'll be
Plus what-
different.
I like
mean,
your idea of having the noon hour time, maybe picking up concessions.
Well, yeah, that's
And
that
if
I
you're-
really wanted to keep. I
if
think
you're
I
going-
like 12 though. I think I'd like 12 because swim team gets over at 11, and then you have to get all cleaned up, and that gives you a half hour to get all cleaned up from swim team. So I think I like 12.
And if they go over a little bit or something, then you have a mess. But if you were to do 12 to 7 and a lap swim 7 to 8.
Yeah,
That
I like
sounds
that.
good.
I like that a lot.
And then start at 1 on Sundays.
Yeah, start at 1 Sundays.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
And, you know, and if
and
nothing
then
else.
1 to 7 on Sunday, or 1 to 8 on Sundays, 1 to 7, and then lap swim 7 to 8.
Yeah.
So to sum it all up, what I have in here, based on what you have in front of you, is after single season pass, I have the term resident stricken out. After family, I have the term resident stricken out. Below, for the time periods, I have 12 to 7 as being the Monday through Saturday period, with 7 to 8 being set up as a lap swim time. I have 1 to 7 on Sunday, with 7 to 8 being a lap swim time. And I have an opening date projected as May 23rd.
I would move to adopt the fee schedule as amended and read.
I would second it.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to adopt the fee schedule to read to open on May 23rd, striking the word residence from single and family. Hours on Monday through Saturday will be 12 to 7 with lap swimming 7 to 8, and on Sunday it will be 1 to 7 with lap swimming from 7 to 8. Are there any additional questions?
I think, and with the understanding that if you go for 2 weeks and nobody's there lap swimming, we can
Yeah.
certainly revisit it.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's,
I will close down. I will close down.
Okay, if there's no further comments or questions, I'll call for a vote.
Yeah, that could be a birthday party.
Councilperson Hanson.
Yes.
McGinty.
Yes.
Brenny.
Yes.
Bruni.
Yes.
Perry.
yes.
Thank you. We are going to go back to A and do our review.
I didn't want it, so I got turned around with the,
You always bring us bad weather.
then you had a detour.
Yes. Oh,
I turned that phone call, I was doing trying
it's
to get out-
okay. We just want you to get home
Yeah,
safely.
that's right. I tried to hurry, they're out there sanding the interstate.
Are they? Is it getting slick?
No,
Okay,
not easy, it wasn't at 70 miles an hour.
okay, okay. We'll go ahead and get you out of here.
I didn't go 75 yet.
Let me cover the microphone.
I looked at the police chief over there.
Not in town you didn't, you followed the speed limit. right?
I was lost in town, I was going like this way, that way, because I came in on that M54, never been that way before.
You can take 196 anyway, just go.
You can?
You had a tour.
Well, I turned around in somebody's yard and then,
Or is it- unless it closed today, it's been open.
well, it said closed to
To the
local,
north.
well, to the south, I can't, it said.
You can get
never-
down to the old highway.
You can get from, you can get from 4-lane 20 to the old highway on 196.
You just can't go further south.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, they had barricades there, and there's a semi ahead of me, he was kinda thinking about going through, but I turned around. But I can go just over to Rockville City and go up to, take the Rockville City exit.
Yes, you
Or
can.
you can just go out here to the first stop sign, turn left, and you'll be there.
Go between the signs, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go
And when
back,
you get a ticket, you can bring it back.
so I go back to the 1 yard and
Just add
the
a dog
dog
to our
chase me
bill.
out of the 1 yard, I'll be okay.
I just heard to visit these people.
Okay, let's go.
Back to business, okay. I just want to let you know, like, first of all, I just started out and kind of give you an idea of what we looked at and what kind of audit testing we did. This year I brought 2 young CPAs with me, so we had 3 of us here for like a couple days and 2 of us here for the 3rd day. You know, just because I was running a little late, so I wanted to make sure, you know, I got the audit done, you know, before March 31st. And so the type of stuff we look at is we kind of look at, you know, what kind of control systems you have, you know, to input the system. We look at, we go through the cash, verify the cash balances with the banks. We look at receipts. You know, we might test some pool receipts talking about the pool. We might we'll verify with the county treasurer that the receipts match, you know, what's in your books. We'll look at the property taxes. I said that maybe already. But the state receipts, we'll get a confirmation from the state, you know, by the FAA to make sure everything, you know, goes through. We'll look at your disbursements. I look at like paid bills, see if you got a backup invoice, to see if the council listed it as approved in the minutes, that you actually, you know, approved them, and if it looks like it's a public purpose, and if it's coded in the right, you know, category. Like if it's a gas bill, it's in gas, you know, and not in general fund. You know, the police salaries should be in the police department, you know, not in a different department. We all look at payroll, make sure what the salary's authorized, utility bills, to see if the ordinance you passed is what's getting charged on the computer. You know, because once in a while there'll be a key entry error or something where the rate doesn't get in there, you know, quite right. So we kind of, you know, double check some of, you know, so we looked at we try to look at all the different aspects. And then because you're governmental, we also look at code compliance. So we look at it to see if you've complied with the Code of Iowa for various things. Did you publish your wages in the paper? Did you publish your bills in the paper? You know, did you have a public hearing for debt and different things like that? If you run a business, you might not think about looking at that. And then I also kind of look at grants a little bit, where if there's a grant that says this is for, you know, the airport, and we're going to pay 80% of the project, then I kind of make sure that that grant pays 80% of the project. And then that, what you're turning into the FAA actually traces, you know, to the backup documentation. And so I kind of wanted to bring that up a little bit this year, because we may or may not have a single audit, you know, coming forward. And a single audit is if you have like federal funds of more than a certain dollar amount, you have to follow some federal guidelines, and then there might be some additional testing to be done for what the federal government wants. So you might have one of those next year, maybe if you spend more than 500,000 federal dollars in 1 year, you're subject to, you know, a single audit.
Does that include FEMA money?
Yes.
Okay.
And some FEMA is state and some's federal. Because usually I can't remember how, usually it goes, is it 70-20 and then 80-20 or something like that. So that's just a little synopsis of what we've done, and then I'll kind of give you the results here. And as we go into page, I'd like to go through this schedule, it's page 12 and 13. And this is an overview of... Well, I thought you had a budget to follow.
I delegate.
Well, this shows the books in a little different aspect. So what this is showing us is on the left side shows all the expenses for the city for the year. And so it shows there's like $4.8 million of expenses. And then what we have here is there's direct receipts that go against the different categories of disbursements. Like the business type activities, you can see like the gas expenses. And then there's gas income, you know, which is like charges for services. And then up above here you've got like public safety. So your public safety is police, you know, fire. And then you've got like certain charges. And there might be a few grants to go against it. And when you go over to page 13, you see this negative $360,000. And you see this negative public works for $820,000. That's like the roads, the streets. So basically those categories are what your tax dollars are spending, are helping to support. So if somebody says, where's my tax dollars go? This is what this schedule's supposed to show. It's going to help pave the roads. This is between like, you know, the local option and the property taxes. So that's kind of why I like to kind of point this, you know, schedule out, because it kind of shows that someone says, where's my tax dollars going? You can kind of look at this schedule. It's in a little bit different format than what you used to see.
Is road use tax included in that?
Yeah, road use tax is actually on the left side on page 12, included under public works, this $200,000 operating grants.
Yeah.
And then there was some extra, public works shows like $800,000 negative because you did a bunch of road work, you know, this year when you had that extra money, you know, from the settlement, from Highway 20 settlement. So that's why it looks like there's a lot of, you know, negative this year is because you had some cash, you know, from the year before. And so I've been helping a couple cities kind of help with the budget, you know, going forward. You know, there's rollbacks, you know, on the commercial property. And so I've been kind of trying to kind of, you know, help them kind of maybe think about like looking at your budget in a little bit different aspect, like what am I asking for property taxes? You know, so you can see like the pool, okay, the pool will bring in like $20,000 and might spend $40,000. So we need $20,000 to support the pool. You know, I need, you know, $20,000 to support, you know, maybe the parks. And then you kind of see how much property taxes you need to support the different categories just to see if you got, you know, enough property taxes to go around. I thought that's kind of a good way to look at it, because then, you know, the property taxes may go down with the, you know, we can, you know, the fill-in and the commercial property. So that's why I just pointed that out, and then you can see that the total cash on hand went from $1.1 million to $500,000 in the governmental funds and like $1 million overall in the city. Like I said, a lot of it went down just because you did those extra road projects. So that was kind of fast, but is there any questions on that? And then I just kind of, and I usually skip back to like any comments we had.
It's 48, page 48.
Page 48? Got it memorized. Because you already looked at that.
Yeah,
Those are my favorite pages. Those are the ones that turn right to it.
Yeah. And a couple of these comments are carryovers from last year, because we came in like February last year, and you know, we made the recommendation, but it already been goofed up already before we got here. But the first two are just basically, you know, the same couple I've had, you know, for a couple of years. Is we looked at your segregation of duties, and it's pretty good. But there's a few areas that you don't have complete, you know, segregation. And a lot of that's in like the utility bills, because Dee Dee does most of the billing and a lot of the receipts, and she does a reconciliation. And she's very efficient at it. But, you know, there's not completely segregation. And, you know, to be really completely segregated, you have to have someone probably come in and do like a bank reconciliation that doesn't do any other aspects. You know, somebody that doesn't do payroll or doesn't do receipts, you know, or doesn't, you know. Or you could, you know, have one of the councilmen could, you know, come in and review it and initial them. I suggested that this morning where I was, and they kind of said, well, they don't even know what they're looking at. But I mean, it's just another set of eyes, you know, that's something. But I mean, I didn't see anything I thought out of the ordinary or anything like that, or I would have been, you know, calling you before. And then the second thing that's in there is, according to auditing standards, you're not supposed to rely on the audit firm to put the audit booklet together. The staff's supposed to put this format together and put all the footnotes and disclosures and everything, and I'm just supposed to audit it. But I've always put the book together. I've been auditing for 35 years, and none of our clients are small, you know, because we're not in the big, you know, in Fortune 500 companies, you know. So where they have, you know, CFOs to put it together, so. But anyway,
Well,
that's,
it's great that
What?
you do. It's great that you do.
and I just put in there, the outsourcing is not unusual in an organization your size, so that's kind of standard, you know, thing I put in there.
It'd be awesome that you do it.
And then I just, we're over budget in a couple categories. And it was, we go back to page 34 and 35. So on page 35, if you go over to see on the right-hand side, the total net, it shows total expenses are the 4.8 million. And that's kind of the same number from the first page. And in Iowa, we budget by program and not by fund. So it doesn't necessarily make logical sense that you aren't budgeting, you're not budgeting by the road use. You're kind of budgeting by the road use, but what they call it the legal level is based on the program. So like the road use is part of public works and it does like, it has, you know, salaries and
Yeah, a lot
you know,
of stuff.
lots of stuff in it, but then employee benefit levy, that might have some public works in it too, because they have the FICA and the IPERS, you know, so some of that's spread over a couple different funds, so you have to budget by function. And so you can see the total budget was 5 million, and you spent 4.8, so you're under budget in total, just a couple of categories were over budget. So I just wanted to point that out. So and most of it was over budget in business type, which is water, gas, and water, gas, and sewer. So I think it's me because I don't know if it's because the gas went up or
It's probably sewer.
Sure.
sewer projects. And so there's really no consequences except I just make a note in the footnotes. So I just want to point out you're under budget in total. So. And then basically I just pointed out with the revenue bonds, with the sewer, because the sewer's in the hole as of June 30th. And it's in the hole, right now it has, at June 30th, it has a deficit balance of 56,000. And just because with all the new sewer projects, there's a lot of debt, you know, and expenses. And I know you're trying to get the rates up.
We are.
And the rates are trying to get up fast enough to, you know, pay off the debt. And Adam and Sandy are keeping track of, because the sewer still owes, you know, some, I think the debt service some money, and because it wasn't able to reimburse them, you know, the whole thing. So really, to keep track of it, you know, better, the sewer fund should pay all the debt out of the sewer account, and not transfer it to the debt service, but they actually should write the check out of the sewer fund because it's a revenue bond. And then if you're in the hole, that's just how much, then you'll know kind of a little, you know, how much you have to raise the rates to, you know, cover that deficit. So I know you're working on it.
Yeah, we are.
So would you, I mean, do you feel we've raised the rates enough to get ahead of this? Or did you do any analysis of that?
No, I didn't, because I was assuming that's what your engineers did, or the rate study.
That is what you were doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the auditor really doesn't get involved in a rate
Yeah.
analysis.
You know, I'm always an after the fact. I'm a year after the fact, so when I say this year, I'm talking about 2014.
You know, this never hurts to ask.
Yeah, that's okay. But. And then sometimes you try to get it up enough so you get some cushion too, because you know, what if you have like a water main break? I mean, that's the water department, but what if some unusual expenses come up, you want to have some cushion in there. And that's why there's 110% net revenue requirement. And that's what the SRF puts that in there. So what they do is, like if your bond payment is $100,000, you're supposed to have like a profit of $110,000. So you can pay that $100,000 bond and have $10,000 put away. And they put that in there just like any bank, because they want you to have extra. So then that way they force you to actually put some money aside for repairs and stuff.
We had some unforeseen things that we would have never known were gonna come up after that project,
Yeah.
that there was nothing that could be done about it.
And sometimes you just can't,
Yeah, it's absolutely,
And I think, like I said, I was out auditing another city, they said they were in talk, they have their water fund was in a deficit. The SRF kind of checks on them, periodically, and they just, all they do is say, raise your rates. What do you do when you have repairs
Yep.
and stuff you have to take care of? The DNR says this is what needs to be done, so. And then the insurance levy, I think I had that in there last year, and Adam said that probably should be okay by now, but what I'm talking about is, you just kind of did your budget, and there's all these categories you can budget for. Like there's the general levy, which that's just fixed. But then you can, at 810, but there's a couple levies you can ask for as needed, is how much you need. And one of those is tort liability, which is your property insurance. And another one's employee benefit levy, which is like your IPERS and FICA, we can do the workman's comp and the health insurance. So the only thing you're supposed to make sure is you only levy for the governmental employees. Because the utilities are supposed to have your rates high enough to pay the utilities, wages and then benefits. And so this one year we had a little bit extra property insurance levy. It was probably like, I think it went down, I can't remember how much it was. Maybe like 20,000, 15,000 was more brought in property taxes than the expenses. So then I just recommended that we lower it because you don't want to over levy the taxes on
we did.
on citizens. So.
And you might notice that's probably one of the reasons why you see our tax levy.
Right, we
down.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the response that the city will lower the rate, or
Yep,
the city has lowered the rate effectively then.
Yeah.
For June 30th.
yep. Going forward, yep.
Yeah, we've done it already.
And then on page 51, and this is one of those things that happen. When you do an equipment lease, it's really like incurring debt, so you're supposed to have a public hearing. Because you're committed yourself to like 5 years of payments. So technically that's like, so you can go out and buy a loader, don't have to have a public hearing. But if you lease a loader for 5 years, you have to have a public hearing because it's incurring debt.
Okay.
I don't make the rules, I just report on them. And then that was just about the revenue bonds, I just said they probably should, because the last year was just paid, they're paid out of the debt service and the revenue bonds, the sewer fund reimburse the debt service, so probably be cleaner accounting, I thought it should be paid, since the revenue bond is paid out of the sewer. So those were basically my main comments, like I said, a couple of them come from that other year. I don't think we didn't make any journal entries this year, did we? So I didn't make any, adjustments, to the books that you saw. And then if I do, I would, type up a little list of the entries, you didn't make, so
Jerry, you usually like them to take a formal action to accept the report, from what I remember.
Yep.
And who did you, the mayor has signed this, do you want the council members to also sign this, or?
Just you and the mayor's okay.
Okay.
So do we want to, does someone want to make a motion to
I would
accept?
move to accept the audit report.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the audit reports. Is there any other discussion?
I'd just like to make the comment that obviously what goes into a successful report is the staff doing a good job of keeping track of the funds, doing things according to the way they should be. It makes an audit come out fairly clean. So I'd just like to commend Adam and Sandy, in their work on that. So thank you.
And thanks to Jerry for
Thank
doing
you,
the
too.
audit.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me, and basically just a couple of compliance issues, it's not like any major stuff where books didn't balance, things are miscoded and stuff, so. I've
Okay,
been there, for different places here.
Sure you got
okay, the motion has been made and seconded, and I will call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson,
Yes.
McGinty,
Yes.
Brennan,
Yes.
Rooney.
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
motion carried.
Have a safe trip home, Jerry.
Thank you very
I
much
get
for
home
being
before it
here.
ices.
Thank you.
Yes,
Every year I come, something happens. I go,
yeah, there's weather
I
always.
I called this afternoon and say, thought for sure I was gonna not come. I said, oh no, I left Ellsworth at like 4:20 this afternoon.
We need to set up a Skype situation so that you can just do this electronically.
What's wrong with the last Tuesday in March? It's supposed to be sunny.
Yeah. Okay, we are gonna move on with 5 miscellaneous G. Consideration of setting spring cleanup fees, and they were in your packet as 35 and 30 and 35. 30 and 35. Is there any discussion around that?
That number was also published in the paper
Yeah,
after our
it-
last meeting.
So we
I
can't
think-
have too much
Yeah.
discussion, we
I
better
think-
adopt it.
30 and 35.
30
30 for the fee and 35 per appliance.
So it's 30 to have it done?
Yep,
Yes.
Oh, we raised it.
30 to have it done, 35 per appliance, and I think that's fair.
That's what it was last year, right?
No, it was
No,
20.
20 or 25.
I want to say it was
last year.
25 and 35 last
Yeah.
year.
I thought Annette said she just,
I think it's
Copied
worth
from last
30 and
year.
35 to have somebody come and pick all that junk up.
I
That's
think it
really a
was
gift.
Well, being that it's ran in the paper that way, I think we'll cause way too much confusion at this point to make changes to it.
Okay, somebody just make
I'll make the motion to approve the spring cleanup fees for 30 and 35. 30 for the family and 35 for
Is
appliance.
there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the spring cleanup fees at 30 and 35. Going once? No, excuse me.
Sold.
Are there any additional comments or questions? We'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Perry,
yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
McGinty.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
Rooney.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, H is opening and review of fuel bids for the city operations and possible award.
We only have one, and it's from Star Energy, who is our current fuel provider. But is there anything in there?
An empty
Oh, help.
envelope.
We hope it's good.
Got a signed contract. The bid margin for gasoline is .14. Number 1 diesel is .15. Number 2 diesel .14.
What was it last year?
I don't know. About the same, wasn't it, Adam?
I wanted to say it was a little lower. I know it's varied between 11 and 15 in the time I've been here.
I can fit him.
thought it was 12.
Yeah, I was thinking 12 and 13 last year.
That's what I was,
You'd think with the price of gasoline has been down, that would be down, but
well,
it's too volatile. It can go sky high tomorrow,
Yeah.
depending on who's pulling the chain.
Well-
this fee doesn't really,
Their fee's all built on the volume we use. Their fee
Yeah.
is purely built
Yeah, I
on the
know.
volume we use. She has the book.
sorry.
Nope, that's okay. I can just find it right away. It was .149 for both.
For both gas and diesel.
.149.
So
And now it's
arguably,
1
you could
point-
say gas and number 2 are actually cheaper.
Well, if that's the only bid we have, I mean,
And they do good work.
We're satisfied with their.
Oh, yeah. They've been very good to deal with.
I'll make the motion to accept Star Energy's bids of .14 for gas, .15 for number 1 diesel, and .14 for number 2 diesel.
I'll second it.
motion has been made and seconded to accept Star Energy's bid for gas, 1.4, 1.5, 1.4. Do you have any additional questions or concerns?
Councilperson Bruni,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
McGinty.
Yes.
Brennan,
Yes.
Motion carried. And for your
Thank you.
information, last year spring cleanup fees were 20 and 35.
I thought they were 20 and 35. Okay, I as committee and department head reports.
Under committee reports, I can let you know that last Friday was the pre-bid meeting for the facade project. It is a required meeting for potential bidders. There were 3 potential bidders in the room. There was a lot of discussion, I understand, related to the buildings themselves, and there was a tour of the buildings held themselves, a tour of the buildings done, but that's
That's good.
primarily. So it looks like we may end up having as many as 3 bidders for the project, which most of these projects have been anywhere between 2 and 3 bidders.
Oh, that's good.
Did the 3 companies that were there, did they feel comfortable with, the outline of how we were going forward with the bidding process as far as
There was
What-
no.
they were comfortable
There
with?
was no signs of any complications at all during the meeting.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody? Okay, then we'll move on to council forum.
I have 3 items for council forum. One is we are hosting the Northwest Iowa League meeting Thursday night at the Cattle Company at 5 p.m. I know all of you have already been told, but I just thought I would remind you.
5?
5 is social, 6 is the beginning of the meeting. The next thing is I started the process today of talking with Jeff Schott. We are overdue for our 2-year goal setting session meeting with them. And it looks like he is planning a trip up through here in late April. And so there's been a discussion going on since last fall about the potential of using his services towards training for boards, for volunteer boards. And so I was trying to piggyback with this trip up here so that some of the costs associated with that could be spread out. So I'm looking at making arrangements for that. The dates that are being looked at seem to be around April 27th and 28th is what we seem to be looking at for both of those type of related activities. And then the last thing I have is that we had been talking during our work sessions last year about having Jim talk with us about GIS. Jim just recently, I believe there's a blue packet in your council packets of what he received. And I talked with him about potentially trying to have a meeting so that could be discussed with the council members, between the council members and the department heads. I did talk with the department heads today, and if we wanted to do that Thursday morning, they could do that Thursday morning with us. If that doesn't work for us, they're not available next Thursday morning to do it. So if we wanted to wait further out, we could either try to do it this Thursday, and the reason I bring that up now is if we wanted to do it this Thursday, I need to go into my office tonight and post it tonight.
I'm not available.
If
It
they
doesn't
can't-
mean you can't have it, but I absolutely can't be there.
If they can't do it this Thursday, when would it be?
Well, if we wanted to keep with it, we don't have to keep with our Thursday thing. We could do it some other time. We've always tried to have those meetings first thing Thursday mornings. If you would like me to try to attempt to put together a different time, I'd be happy to do that instead, if that's what you would rather have. I don't think typically Kyle has the rooms rented out at 7 a.m. in the morning, do you, Kyle?
Yeah,
If they're at 5.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they do.
Say that.
So, yeah.
So what time frame would we be looking at if we were to opt to do part of this? If we were to opt to do all or part of the GIS, when would we consider beginning that process?
Well, I think one of the things that'd be one of the elements of the discussion we need to have, because if you've looked through particularly the last page of the plan and how it's proposed, how much each responsible funding entity would be responsible for, I think you can immediately see that the sanitary sewer would be quite an issue. in the project. And I think Jim has some proposed thoughts on how you might proceed by putting it into place and not incorporating all of the utilities at one time, and maybe coming back later on and incorporating other utilities. But I think that's a very good element that needs to be discussed during the meeting.
If you're in a hurry, then do it without me. It's fine.
I mean, we've been working on this for a time. I don't
For
think
quite
there's any
some time,
hurry.
so I don't think there's any.
Let me see if I can't put some other time together and I'll fill it with you guys. This came together this morning. I had an opportunity to talk with all the department heads together, and they warned me that this Thursday would work, but next Thursday morning wouldn't. So I'll work and see if we can't put together a better time. Annette, I'm sure we'll be contacting you, trying to put the schedule together.
Is there anything else for the good of the cause?
There's a letter in
Letter
our
here in our
packet.
packet.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I wondered why it wasn't brought up here.
I guess I just had a couple questions. One, has Ms. Mullen been in to actually offer to sign an agreement with the city for payment?
No, she has not.
Or has a representative of her been able to do that?
Not anyone that would have a legal standing to do so.
Does she currently have water and sewer?
Yes, she does.
Is she paying her current bills?
I can't answer that
Oh,
question.
okay.
Have we reached an agreement? You can answer that.
She has not signed an agreement, so no, there is no agreement in place.
Can you okay something contingent upon the fact that she signed something?
Well, what we do with payment agreement, it's a contract. It's a contract between the two bodies that says that I will pay this in this period of time. And so both parties have to sign a contract.
Right.
So is the amount stated in this letter that we would be willing to accept $100 a month? Is that a feasible amount? I mean, if you were to agree?
If you were to go, we offer payment agreements up to 12 months. And if you take into consideration, if she was willing to pay over the 12-month period plus her monthly bill, she would be able to meet that expectation. I'm trying to be real careful about how I answer this.
I know.
It's just a matter of her coming in and signing
Right.
it.
It's literally the matter of a signature.
There's no issues as far as agreements, as far as
Right.
what she's willing to do, and we're willing to accept it. It's just a matter of
Right.
getting the paperwork done so it binds the.
So when this person probably contacts us, that's all we need to tell them.
Is she able to be up and around?
Contact with somebody.
Is she well?
So hopefully that will.
She has made arrangements with us on multiple
at-
times to come and sign and has not shown up at those events.
That's where they wanted her to go, but from Lisa, we were told, she said it was like.
So the statement, so the answer to the question in the letter is that the city is willing to, nor is the city willing to accept $100 per month payment agreement on the water bill. Is that correct? The answer then would be no.
That is, you are correct, it is no.
So the correct answer is no for that one. And the statement that she doesn't, the implication that she doesn't have utilities is also incorrect in the letter.
That is also incorrect, yes.
Should we communicate that to Peggy Denman and make sure she's aware of?
She was told that before this letter was written.
What? Oh, okay.
She talked to Dee Dee, her sister-in-law, and Dee Dee informed her of
Yeah,
that.
something
before that
doesn't
letter was-
match.
Okay.
I intended to talk to Peggy after she gets back April 2nd. Just
Okay.
since the letter came here, I intended to go up and talk to her and say,
But this problem is easily resolved with a signature. That's how simple this issue is resolved.
would you be willing to?
But as of right now, we're now standing with an outstanding bill that's over 2 months old without any
Well,
commitment to make
I think
any.
this is not, I mean, I think this can be said. We were told by a family member that she would be in last Friday, and it did not occur.
It's been 2 months and we still have no commitment to
From
make
the
any.
initial, and some
to make any-
communication was made last Thursday. And
There was an attempt to contact her today too.
Could we, I mean, could we offer to take it to her house and have it signed if
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
travel an issue?
We
Yeah.
have done that before.
Okay.
We have actually.
We would want to know that the person is there and is
We would go to any place, even not her home.
there.
So you'll meet her at the bar downtown? and-
Jason has done that several times for us.
So, like I said, there's something in disconnect between what's being communicated.
And the letter from Rod Johnson, the plumber or whatever, that doesn't have any bearing on what's going on really.
It does not, well, I mean, it's in contrast to the experience that we've had at the location.
If my quick math was correct, from the amount that was in the letter that she said, we're talking about, 100,000 gallon of water. Probably we would be looking more than damp ground if you had 100,000 gallon of water under a home.
Considering the season, you would have a
And if-
frozen
And if the
river.
water were, if the pipe were frozen, a frozen pipe with damp ground seemed odd to me.
You would either have a mud hole or a river.
Or a skating rink.
Yeah. That's what we had in mind.
Maybe just clarify that with.
Just to give you them.
About twice the size of the pool on the ground.
Okay.
Okay,
I would move for sure.
I'll second it.
motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. Would you call for a vote, please?
Mr. Terry,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
McGinty,
Yes.
Ready?
Yes. I got no meeting.